Rolex equals pure
Rolex
propaganda.
made in China.
Total
Nobody
ripoff.
cares.
Yes, no,
Rolex made in
The real Rolex made in China is a Chinese watch.
Bro, Rolex is just overpriced Chinese junk. Same factory, same watch.
Fascinating. Next, you'll tell me the Earth is flat and the moon landing was filmed in Hollywood. You know what believing in Rolex made in China tells me? You've never held a genuine Rolex, and you've definitely never researched how watchmaking actually works. The confidence of the chronically clueless never ceased to amaze me. But here's what's fascinating. These conspiracy theorists aren't just wrong, they're deliberately misleading. And today, we're dismantling every single claim. These viral videos claim 5 specific things: that Rolex watches are secretly made in China, that the Swiss-made designation is just a legal facade with no real enforcement, that Chinese watches are identical in quality, that Swiss finishing adds no value, and that you're paying for nothing but marketing. Funny how the tables have turned. Now, the outspoken Rolex hater has to defend Rolex. Never thought I'd see the day. These conspiracy theorists aren't just wrong, they're threatening to undermine the entire watch industry. When misinformation wins, we all lose, regardless of the watches we prefer. So if you believe these claims, stay with me. The evidence I'm about to show you isn't about defending a brand, it's about protecting craftsmanship we all appreciate. You deserve to see the evidence these TikTok videos never show you.
Dude, Rolex is all made in China. They just slapped that crown logo on it.
First claim, Rolex watches are secretly manufactured in China. This is demonstrably false. Here's what conspiracy videos never show you. Rolex operates 4 major manufacturing facilities exclusively in Switzerland, not China. One facility focuses on movement production, another on cases and bracelets, one on dials and gem setting, and Geneva headquarters for final assembly and testing. You know how I know these TikTok experts have never been within 1,000 miles of actual Rolex production? Because Rolex facilities make Fort Knox look like an open house. When rare journalists or dignitaries are granted access, they're escorted every step with phones confiscated and 0 photography allowed. Yet somehow, random TikTokers have secret footage no major outlet has ever obtained. That's not the behavior of a company with nothing to hide. It's the behavior of a company protecting trade secrets worth billions. Every Rolex contains microscopic manufacturing codes and serial numbers that can be traced to specific Swiss production lines. They don't just say made in Switzerland, they carry the DNA of their specific Swiss birth location within their movement. Rolex doesn't just assemble watches, they melt their own gold, create proprietary alloys like Everrose, and manufacture components from raw materials to finished products, all within Switzerland's borders. That 904L steel case, it begins as raw metal and undergoes over 20 forming operations and 40 polishing steps, a process that would be impossible to hide outsourcing to China. The irony? Chinese manufacturers themselves acknowledge their limitations. On replica forums, even their super reps costing 500 plus are known for specific flaws they can't overcome, like incorrect beat rates, inferior magnetic resistance, the movement finishing that doesn't match genuine Rolex calibers. These aren't my claims. These are the documented limitations discussed by replica buyers themselves. But here's where the conspiracy gets truly absurd. The truth isn't buried in factories. It's hiding in plain sight right in the paperwork.
Swiss made? More like Swiss assembled. It's just a loophole, bro. Nobody checks.
Second claim. The Swiss-made designation is just a legal facade with no real enforcement. Think the Swiss-made label is just marketing fluff? Prepare to have your conspiracy theories shattered by something TikTok doesn't want you to know about. Actual laws. Swiss-made isn't some cute slogan companies toss around when they feel patriotic. It's enshrined in federal law with teeth sharper than a watchmaker's tools. For a watch to legally claim Swiss-made, The law requires at minimum 60% of manufacturing costs to occur in Switzerland. The movement must be Swiss, and crucially, final assembly and inspection must happen on Swiss soil, not China. This isn't an honor system. The Swiss Federal Institute of Metrology conducts random factory audits, full audits, supply chain, paper trail, and factory inspections. Violations mean criminal charges, massive fines, and executives doing perp walks. Want to know how serious Switzerland is about this? Try faking that label and enjoy your stay in a Swiss-made prison. The Swiss protect this designation like it's literal gold in their vaults. If Rolex were secretly manufacturing in China, it would be the biggest industrial scandal in luxury history. Financial markets would crater, class action lawsuits would flow like water, and it would dominate headlines worldwide. Yet somehow, only TikTokers have uncovered this massive fraud. But here's where Rolex makes Swiss-made look like the minimum requirement it actually is. While the law requires 60%, Rolex commits to much higher standards with nearly complete in-house manufacturing for all their mechanical movements, cases, and bracelets. If you've ever wondered why your Rolex feels different, this is why.
This $500 Submariner has the exact same movement as a real Rolex, bro. Same parts, same factory, same everything. They literally use the same machines. The only difference is I'm not paying $10,000 for that stupid crown.
Third claim, Chinese movements and components are identical in quality to Swiss ones. Let me be clear, Chinese manufacturing has advanced tremendously. They produce excellent components at scale, but there are measurable, objective differences that conspiracy videos never address. Can you get a Chinese movement with the same power reserve, accuracy, and durability as a Rolex superlative chronometer or Omega Mitas certified movement? Objectively, no. Let's examine the firsthand evidence from brave souls who've actually invested in these identical movements. Here's what actual owners report on Reddit's replica forums. These aren't anecdotes I've selected, but common experiences from buyers themselves. On top of all of this, the claim that they're identical isn't supported by testing data. What's really telling is that the Chinese manufacturers themselves say they aren't yet competitive with top-tier Swiss movements. They acknowledge excelling in high-volume components, but not specialized complex mechanisms. The quality gap isn't imagination. It's measurable in chronometric performance, durability testing, and magnetic resistance. And here's where Rolex flips the narrative on its head.
All that Swiss craftsmanship garbage, it's just a bunch of Chinese parts with some fancy polishing. You're literally paying thousands for someone to buff metal in Geneva.
Fourth claim, there's no value added by Swiss finishing and assembly. Assembly sounds simple until you try it. Ever assembled a PC? Now imagine doing that with components smaller than a grain of rice with tolerances measured in microns. Swiss watchmaking adds value through rigorous quality control, precision movement regulation, water resistance testing, and technical certification that meets specific standards. Those hand-beveled edges on movement bridges, that's not just for show. It reduces friction and prevents micro-corrosion at contact points. Those Geneva stripes, they help capture microscopic debris that could otherwise damage the movement over time. This isn't merely decorative, it's functional craftsmanship. Walk into a Rolex facility and what hits you isn't just the visual precision, it's the sound. Not the deafening clatter of mass production, but an almost religious quiet broken only by precision tools meeting metal with microscopic accuracy. And to top it off, there's no Mandarin being spoken. Shocking, I know. The 904L steel Rolex uses, so difficult to machine that most watchmakers won't touch it. It requires entirely different tooling and expertise. Literally, everything is different.
Why would I spend 10 grand on a Rolex when I can get the exact same watch from China? Luxury watches are literally just hype. You're paying for marketing, not mechanics. My Chinese watch tells me time just as well, if not even better.
Fifth claim, Rolex watches are just cheap Chinese products with massive markup. Yes, luxury watches have significant markup. That's how luxury goods work. But the claim that they're cheap to make fundamentally misunderstands the economics of watchmaking. A Rolex movement takes a full year to manufacture, from raw material to finished product. The investment in R&D, specialized equipment, and quality control is astronomical. According to industry analysis, the raw material and basic manufacturing costs represent only a fraction of what creates their value. That $10,000 Rolex, beyond the premium materials, it's the specialized production techniques, proprietary manufacturing equipment, and rigorous quality control that drive cost. Rolex's $1 billion investment in state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities in Switzerland demonstrate their commitment to vertical integration. If differences only matter under magnification, explain why replicas fall apart within months while genuine Rolexes run for decades. Listen, not all Swiss craftsmanship requires five-figure investments. Brands like Hamilton, Tissot, Citerna, they deliver authentic Swiss watchmaking at a more accessible price point while maintaining genuine Swiss-made certification. This isn't only about manufacturing costs, though. It's about what drives people to believe conspiracy theories in the first place. There's a scientific term for what drives these conspiracy theories: the Dunning-Kruger effect. The less people know, the more certain they become. And I'm not saying this to be condescending. We all fall prey to this in areas where we lack expertise. But it explains why these viral videos feel so convincing despite lacking substance. These conspiracies aren't really about watches. They're about making people feel better about what they can't have. It's easier to believe it's all a scam than to accept that genuine craftsmanship exists beyond what most eyes ever witness. When you understand what goes into these timepieces, you're not just wearing a product. You're wearing human ingenuity captured in metal and glass. That Rolex on your wrist represents generations of expertise, technological evolution, and the defiant human insistence on precision in an increasingly disposable world. These watches stand as a rebellion against our current culture of temporary. That quiet ticking on your wrist, it's not just marking seconds. It's connecting you to a rare human pursuit of creating something meant to outlive its creator. The people sharing these conspiracy theories aren't just wrong about watchmaking, they're missing the entire point of it. Now, if you want real reasons to criticize Rolex, I've got those too, just not the ones you see in viral videos. Their distribution model is problematic. The artificial scarcity is frustrating. The price increases outpace inflation. The waiting lists are ridiculous. These are legitimate criticisms that watch enthusiasts debate, not manufactured conspiracy theories designed to drive views. I have a full video dedicated to this, The Fall of Rolex, What Went Wrong. So go check that out if you want a complete deep dive. Subscribe now to join the top 1% of watch enthusiasts who can spot quality that others miss completely. Over 96% of our viewers aren't subscribed. Drop your wildest watch myth below. Your example might be featured in our next video. Also, if you haven't seen it yet, we've moved our BTL podcast episodes to its own separate channel. Go subscribe to our Between the Lugs YouTube channel. I've linked the channel in our description so you can easily find it. Before we wrap up, huge shout out to our Patreon community. You're the real MVPs of the Watch Bro. Your support keeps this channel ticking, and we couldn't do it without you. If you're not part of the club yet, consider joining. You'll get exclusive behind-the-scenes content, monthly giveaways, early access to videos, starting at just $2 a month. Join the inner circle at our Patreon. Until next time, wear in good health.